Hooray for Hollywood! Hello there, Stan the Movie Man here with a bonus WIMZ.com movie review. Monday night, July 2nd, I went to see a sneak peek of The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Rhys Ifans, Dennis Leary, and more. Unfortunately, a thunderstorm stopped that viewing about halfway through, just when Peter Parker is over at Gwen Stacy's house for dinner and has the rather tense exchange with her husband, or with her father, Police Captain Stacy. That's about the time the screen went blank and the emergency lights came on, and after about half hour they sent us all home. So I went to see just a regular showing of it on the 4th of July, and here's my review. Of course, the story is the reboot of Spider-Man. Peter Parker, bit by spider, falls in love with a girl he can't possibly get, picked on in high school, develops powers, builds the suit, Uncle Ben dies, blah, blah, blah. And in this particular reboot of the Spider-Man mythos, his villain is the Lizard, who in his human form is Dr. Curt Connors, a former partner in research with Peter's dad, who has been dead for several years. Although we get to see Peter and his father when Peter was just about 4 years old. There's some break-in at the house. Apparently, Dr. Parker has some research that somebody wants, and because he and Dr. Connors work at Oscorp. And there's some mystery behind Peter's parents' deaths. Not much of a mystery. They pretty much explain it during the film. But I'll have to say, this, for a reboot, especially one so soon after the last original Spider-Man trilogy movie, is very, very, very good. Now, the first hour or so is kind of slow as Peter, gets his powers and explores them and comes up with the suit and searches for the guy who kills Uncle Ben and all that stuff that we've seen before. So I'm not sure if it's really slow or if it's just because I've seen it fairly recently. I'm like, okay, I've seen this before, let's move on. So, that could just be a product of my own feelings about rebooting it so quickly. Of course, I understand they have to. Sony, who owns the rights to the movies for Spider-Man, has to do something with the character every so often, otherwise the rights revert back to Marvel and Disney. So in order to hold on to it, and because the original actors and director did not want to participate in a fourth film, Sony and Columbia decided to just reboot the franchise. And I'll have to say, they've done a really, really good job. It looks spectacular. It moves at a very brisk pace, even though at times it does feel a little slow in the first hour. And then once Peter is more comfortable in the red and blue skin-tight suit, the action really picks up, especially as Dr. Connors transforms into the Lizard. And there is foreshadowing about the second movie, because there is a bonus scene. Stay seated. You'll get a look at what will likely set up the sequel, and I'm sure there will be a sequel, because this thing's going to do hundreds of millions of dollars, probably in the first week. So yeah, you can pretty much bet on it. But it is a really entertaining movie. Andrew Garfield is a terrific Peter Parker. Emma Stone, Gwen Stacy, love her. And Sally Field is Aunt May, and she's a sweetheart. I've always liked Sally Field. And I really enjoyed Martin Sheen's Uncle Ben. He, of course, is the moral center for Peter, and who he always goes back to when he's conflicted about something he needs to do. He always hears Uncle Ben in his head. It's a really, really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm giving it 5 guitars. Go to WIMZ.com to read my complete review, which I may or may not post sometime soon. And you can vote on the next movie I see and review. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to me at stanthemovieman@att.net. And you can follow me on Twitter at MovieManStan. Later, Tater!